Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday, September 27th. The markets look like they're all opening green again. So we're going to take a quick look here and just for maybe until the market open from now until 8:15. And what I'm looking at first, as usual, is the SPY. And it's going to have a good weekly candle close. And the weekly candle is probably going to be another maybe all-time high, depending on the price action, of course. But it's headed in that direction to be another all-time high weekly candle close for the SPY. And the daily chart is still looking like there's momentum to the upside as well. So possibly support could be down here at the 567. But it looks like things still want to continue up. And for the QQQ, same situation, right? We got price up $1.23 right now, 490. I'm really looking for momentum to carry through for up to the 500s again. But yesterday, this gap did get closed, right, during the open. And then it went a little bit higher, but then it just sold off. So that's what happens a lot of times after gaps get closed. So we'll see if today we'll have more strength to get back up there, but if not, it might be maybe next week or so to get back up to these 500 levels. But still, it's the step in the right direction, and it's going higher. And the weekly chart is looking like it's going to be a bullish close too, right above all the indicators. And it looks like the conversion line there is crossing back above the baseline, which is a bullish cross right down there too. So this is a good development for future potential as well. So just waiting on new all-time highs like the SPY for the QQQ. So just got to be patient with that one. And the IWM, yeah, 221. That's what I've been waiting for the whole time, to close the week above it, right? And I didn't really care what it did during the week, just as long as the weekly close is above that 221, maybe 221.50, 221.40, around that zone. So we'll see if it can make it, right? It's at 221.06, so it's going to be maybe a photo finish today. So we'll keep an eye on that 221, simply because when I go to this chart here, right, that is the Fibonacci level, and it's my arc right here too. So I just want to see that weekly candle close above both. Would be great for 2 weeks in a row for continuation. And let's see. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, I see. Let's just jump into Tesla first, because I know people are interested here. And it's still that 258.15 is what I'm looking at. Yesterday it was fine. Like I said, getting rejected because it's not the weekly close. It doesn't really matter. So today's another day to battle it. And sure enough, it's going to battle it again today. So whether or not it closed back above today or not, that's still undecided. But the momentum of this chart is strong. It is powerful. It is good. And I think no matter what I really like to see is that it is above all this support. So regardless of breaking through this 258 level or not to this week, I think it's inevitable. I think maybe the following week or the week after, or sometime in the near future, it will. So to be good, it would be good to break above it, because that would be the first time in a year, right? It's been a whole year since October, really, of 2023. So almost a whole year it's been underneath that 50% level on a weekly candle close. So I would like to see it close above to reverse that trend, and also eventually to make a higher high from this 271 to go higher. So please, let's see. We'll see what happens. Just be patient, right? And let's see. I see a request for Doge. Yeah, Doge really broke out. And it was kind of obvious when we were looking at the daily chart last night in Patreon. And this is the importance of TA right here. Once it breaks resistance levels, it doesn't slow down, right? Because when you see the daily chart here, it was battling that 100-day moving average and the conversion line and the top of the cloud, like all three of those. And then when it broke above, it just triggered a bunch of buying power, and then boom, it's going higher. And now it's kind of like melting up to the next resistance, right? So maybe it has room to go to 13 cents, 13.5 cents. But this is the proof. Like, there's no news related to this, right? It's just breaking resistance. And this is what lots of charts do. When they break resistance, they go on to the next resistance level, sometimes fairly quickly, like this one. And WULF and CORZ. Yeah, well, I'll go to my WULF chart here. And WULF, yeah, WULF looks like it wants to go higher too, to my angle above, which would be like 580s. Maybe next week that would be around $6. But I think it's above everything on my chart here. So I think what's more likely is to gravitate higher to the previous highs around the 620s, 30s, 40s, 50s up there. Then after that, gravitate to the 200-week moving average at 715. So I think this one wants to go higher, and just gotta be patient because it's not going to go straight up there because it has some resistance with these previous candles right here. And CORZ. Another great example of breaking resistance, right? It broke my 1060 resistance level, shot straight up, back test, and kept on going higher, which is what is common for things that break a resistance that have been resistance for a long time. And this one was even longer than DOGE, right? It was just bumping up against that 1060 forever and ever and ever. And then finally a bullish engulfing, boom. And then it went higher. So that's all it took. So I think, yeah, this one looks good. But if you look at the daily chart, it's kind of like rounding a little bit. So when it rounds like that a little bit, that means it's probably cooling off and possibly wants to go back and maybe retest lower levels, like maybe go back down to the 1173 again, or even 1104, or just retest levels to go higher. And it's just part of the process of getting to the highs. And I think eventually after it finds its new bottom, it'll probably continue higher towards the 18s and the 20s above. And I see a request for in phase. Yeah, so in phase up $1.40 pre-market. It's just stock right here. Let me get rid of that. The important thing is it's in the cloud, and I want to see it just maintain in the cloud. So this is baby steps, right? It's getting higher lows all the time from here, right? Higher low, and it's just consolidating. It's really just building a base, and on top of the 50-week, on top of the weekly conversion line to go higher. So I think a minimum weekly close above 113.43 is fine, but even better would be above that baseline up there around 118.42. But still, this chart looks better and better all the time. And UEC, uranium. Yeah, uranium, when it hit the 200 and my GAN angle there, it just bounced at 413, and now it's pressing up against some resistance right there at 638, right? That's the 50-week moving average. 635, it's pre-market, so it might struggle for this weekly candle close. It was a nice 15% week, but not sure if it has more juice back. But I see potential to the top of the cloud simply because the previous candles here are also there. So I think 680s, 690s is possible. So I think just got to give it some patience, but maybe not this week, but possibly next week. That could be the target. And Rocket Labs, RKLB. Yeah, so I had that black line drawn for a while, and that black line was like a previous zone up here, right? And we can see that it is breaking above that, but more importantly, it's breaking above my angle. So, and the 200-week moving average. So the momentum is clearly shifted to the upside, and I think the momentum can still continue towards the orange level above around 1020s. So I think that could be the target. And as long as this 45-degree angle holds now, maybe next week, that'll be around like 847, 850, and just continue higher and higher and higher, and then it'll get there. And then that'll be some resistance, of course, because even if you drew a line where that orange level is, it's kind of like a previous support zone flipped to resistance. So no matter what, it's looking like price is going to maybe stop out around the 10 $10 range, right? But I think that'll be the target before any kind of major correction because it is making higher highs from all of these candles as well. So this is a very good development, and just maintain that angle, then it's going to go higher. Yeah, CLSK. So CLSK is nice. It's up 1048 pre-market. So it's going towards its 200-week moving average. So it's still kind of lagging behind others a little bit, but it's still, from the high time frame, it's still a very, very nice, right? Look at all these higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, even a higher low from here, right? So it's still going to go higher. It's just going to be a little bit slower because it has to break this resistance above, and that's at 1087. So I see some room to go to the 1080s, 1090s, but if there was a day to close above that 200 week, it would be today for that weekly candle, just because Bitcoin is looking pretty good now at 65,670. So I think the possibility to continue is there. It just needs to break through. And once there's a weekly candle close above it, then I'll be more bullish on it. And PayPal, PYPL. Yeah, PayPal, it's going to go higher. I've been telling my Patreon for a long time that after it broke out above the 100, it'd be an opportunity to get, after the rejection, get towards that 100, and that would be the buy territory. And it didn't even get there, but sure enough, it became very powerful and then just shot straight up. And now what you see here is it made a higher high from this candle here, right? And now it's just gravitating to the next set of arcs. So what I've been telling people on Patreon is going to go. It's going to go to the 90s. It's going to go to the hundreds. It's going to go to 110, right? It's just going to keep going higher, not in a straight line, but it's going to go there over time. And this will be over $100 probably either maybe later this year or early next. So it's, the momentum is very strong for PayPal. And now that it broke above the arc here, it is looking like this previous arc, which was a resistance, is now going to be a support. So this is looking really good. So anytime price retraces, I think that would be the opportunity, because this is looking like a fabulous stock once again. And SVM, silver core metals. Yeah, same situation. See, it finally broke through the 200, then it just had momentum. See, a proof that resistance levels, once they've broken, they just want to keep melting up, and this is no exception. But it's also kind of at another resistance zone right here. When we just pull up a line right there, you can see it's a previous resistance with these candles here, support, flip to resistance. So it's getting to that resistance zone right now. So if you are in it for the ride, it might be time to maybe take some profits, maybe, because it looks like it could get rejected there and maybe come back down to retest levels. So, but I think ultimately it will continue higher because the momentum of the Ichimoku is there, and I could see it eventually getting up to the 650s or even the $7 range eventually, right? But right now it might be stopping out there for a few weeks or a few months or so. And MBLY, we got 1 minute till the market opens. MBLY. Yeah, this one, I don't like this chart. And this chart is telling me that, yeah, it has potential to go up to $15 again, even $22, or even my black line up here, where it was a previous support flipped to resistance to 25. But it's just gambling to me, and I like to trade off of many confluences, and I don't have it with this chart. And all I have is maybe this is a bottom, and I don't like to trade off of maybe. So therefore, yeah, it can go higher. It can go to the 15s and the 20s and whatever, but it's still a bearish stock. And even if it went up there, it could just roll over and continue lower again. So the possibility of it being a bottom, yes, it's there, but it's just a gamble from my point of view. Yeah, so pens is also breaking through. The market just opened here. We can see that it's breaking above my arc there, and it also held my 100 week moving average perfectly. And now it's going higher and higher and higher. So maybe this 32.63 will get broken, right? Price is at 33.09 right now. So I think closing above that conversion line would be positive for continuation to the top, 35, 36, maybe even 38 above. So the momentum is there and the 100 week held perfectly. So this looks like it wants to at least continue higher towards the upper 38s for the near future. So the market is open. Let's go take a look at everything here. Yeah, so the QQQ up a little bit, SPY up a little bit. IWM is battling that 221 zone. Let's see if you can do the weekly close above it. And yeah, all the miners are looking pretty good here. Some are kind of flat. Let's see. Yeah, Tesla is up above 258 now. So let's see if they can hold that. Let's take a look at Palantir. So 3660 was that Fibonacci 786, right? But also, if you look here on my GAN, it's basically, if it stays above this angle too, I think it's going to drift higher towards the $40 zone. So it's looking better and better for a continuation just because it's flipping multiple levels to a support. And I think as long as these levels hold, then yes, it'll continue higher. If not, then maybe it'll retest levels. But we'll take Palantir one step at a time. But it still looks good and good and good. So yeah, everything's looking good. Let's pay attention to those weekly candle closes. See if Tesla can close above 258. And if it does, I think it could have a very, very, very good week next week as well. So I'll see you guys tonight on